As I sit here alone in the dark in my car, I want to try to pinpoint something that I think is uh, a uh, a paradox or an inconsistency amongst many WNs, i.e., white nationalists. I think I can still say that here. That I see, and how it relates to Kanye West and the controversy surrounding him, and the attitude that a lot of white nationalist types seem to have towards Kanye West is that they almost don't want to talk about him. It's like because he's not white himself, they don't want to. They only grudgingly, at best, want to give him credit for doing more to expose the so-called JQ than any other, uh, really famous person since Mel Gibson, perhaps, and maybe more so than Mel. Um, so let me just go back to the beginning of what I'm wanting to say here. I'm not a white nationalist myself. I have friends who are white nationalists, and I get along well with many people who are white nationalists, and I understand the the philosophy of it. I understand the idea that a society that is homogeneous is best, tends to be most effective, tends to be a high trust kind of society. People feel most comfortable amongst their own, and that's fine. That applies to all people. I still think people should be able to live amongst those who are not their own. But I do get the impulse towards racial or ethno-nationalism, and I don't think it's at all an evil impulse by any stretch of the imagination. Now, the problem that I see with white nationalism frequently is its inconsistency, because on the one hand, you hear people say things like, I'm a white nationalist, or I'm pro-white because the whites are my people, and I'm going to be, I'm going to stand in solidarity with my people. It's my extended family, and your family can be your family. It's not that other families are bad, but this is my family, and so I have a particular allegiance to this extended family that is my race. But it doesn't have anything to do with any attributes of my family. It's just your family is your family, and you stand by your family. So in that case, when the white nationalist says something like that, you get the impression there is no real chauvinism. There's no real animus towards those of other races. It's just they're different. They should be amongst their own. We are who we are. We should be amongst our own. But then you frequently hear things like, whites built civilization, whites accomplished this, they accomplished that, they invented this, they invented that. Without whites, we would all be living in mud huts, and because of the white race, civilization has advanced to the point where it has. Now, I'm not taking anything away from any white accomplishments when I say these things, but I thought the idea was that you were supposed to be have this allegiance to your race because they're your race, not that you not because they're the best race in the world, and without them, all the inferior races would be living in mud huts and stuff. But of course, there's going to be some chauvinism. I mean, and some of it can be kind of playful. It's just like if you have a team that you like, you can talk about, we did this, we won the Worlds. If you're a Yankee fan, I know people will hate the sports ball comparison, but it makes sense in this context. If you're a Yankee fan, you can brag on all the Yankees accomplishments, and while at the same time knowing that this, you're a fan, but you did nothing to really help any of these things happen. It was the players on the team that had this tradition of excellence. And I mean, I all credit to everybody who's accomplished great things, but I don't feel I can't brag on myself for being white because of Tesla or Edison or whoever you want to take as a white genius who's pushed civilization along, whatever. It doesn't have anything. So when you're bragging on on the accomplishments of your race, it's like you want to hitch your wagon to those people and say, yeah, I'm one of them, and that means that I'm. Even though this isn't usually said out loud, what's implied is I'm better. I'm made of better stuff than those people over there who would still be living in mud huts and committing violent crimes and whatnot. And that's the other thing. Now, it's I think it's fine to be honest about say racial crimes and the percentages of crimes that are committed by this race or that race, according to objective statistics that have been assembled here or there. I think drawing attention to that kind of thing is fine, but where it goes wrong, I think, is again it comes down to saying something like, this group over here is more inclined to be whatever, to have all these undesirable tendencies, which is something you can say about certain other racial groups, but not something you can say about other certain racial groups. So, but anyway, I'm not going to get specific about any of those things. My point is, when the focus is on, oh, look at how great we are because our people did this and did that and went to the moon and if we actually went to the moon, but I'm not going to go there. And invented the cotton gin, invented the steam train, invented the airplane, and on down the line. Okay, but then also saying, and look at these people, they're just so gross, they're so pathetic, they're dangerous, they're ugly. There really is a lot of that. I have to say it, and with all due respect towards those WNs who are more noble-minded, there is a lot of sort of indulgence in this kind of rhetoric, which can only be, I think, called racial, at least animus, if not race hate. And there, while white nationalists shun the term white supremacist, a lot of them do talk like they are indeed white supremacists. So why not? I would admire them more if they embraced the term white supremacist and said, we're honest about it, and said, yeah, we do think we're better. But it seems that, again, on the one hand, it's no, these are our people. And that's why we're with them. It's not because they have this or that attribute or these things to be proud of, and it's not to put any of these other races down. But then they proceed to contradict themselves, as I've explained. Now, how does this relate to Kanye West and his current struggles? I really do think that amongst the conspicuous WNs out there, and I'm not going to name any names, but you know who you are. I really do think that there is this reluctance to draw attention to what Kanye is struggling with right now, to the terrible injustices that he's facing. Now, I know he's a multi-zillionaire. He's maybe you don't like his music. I don't know. I'm not saying he's the most oppressed person in the world or anything like that. But I do think that right now it's clear that all of the powerful institutions, nearly all of the powerful institutions, all of the Lugenpress, they're all out to get him right now because of a tweet that he made out of frustration that he typed up, perhaps not, definitely imprudently, that he wrote out of frustration, and his frustration seems to have been justified, and he didn't back down from his statement. And he, in doing so, has shown himself to be truly courageous in taking on, the entirety of the mainstream media and all of the filth and garbage that they're throwing his way, and all of the ways that they're trying to humiliate him right now, and the ways that they're cutting ties with him. I read today that like Goodwill wasn't accepting goods from or some charitable group wasn't accepting Kanye goods anymore. It's like, what? Do you want to help poor people or not? It's just so ridiculous. It's true. It's pure virtue signaling at its most reprehensible and pathetic. And I really think that I although I'm not a WN myself, knowing plenty of them, I really am somewhat dismayed at how they have mostly ignored this Kanye thing, or tried to downplay it, or tried to say, oh, he's just some he's just some schizophrenic, no talent rapper who's off his meds. You're basically sounding like the normies when you're talking that way. I think it's unconscionable. I think, and if one of your main concerns is the permeation of a certain ethnic group's influence over so many facets of modern life, the media, the entertainment industry, politics, what have you, where this group is definitely much more powerful than they are, than would be proportional to their representation. I think whatever you might say one way or the other about this group, and their influence, if you were honest and if you were aware, you would acknowledge this. You might say, yeah, there are a lot of them in high positions in the media. A huge number of them, and elsewhere in other powerful places, but that's not a bad thing. You might say that. Or you might say it's neither good nor bad. It's just neutral. It doesn't mean anything in and of itself. Or you might say, if you are a WN, this is a bad thing, which I would definitely think you would say. And if that is what you would say, then you should be thankful to a man like Kanye West for having done what he has done. Whatever you think of his music, whatever you think of other things about him, if you're still holding it against him for humiliating Taylor Swift back in 2009, this sweet innocent blonde Aryan princess who turned out to be a shitlib, just like so many other Aryan princesses are today. But instead of giving Kanye his due and sticking up for him, you just want to ignore it. You want it to go away because I think maybe partly you're jealous that it's him and not you who's doing this. Is there any merit to what I'm saying? Think about it. If one of you is watching this right now, I would be very interested to hear your response to what I am saying here. So, touchy subject. thank you for watching, and look forward to hearing what anybody has to say in response.